Well, a charter flight landed in Washington, D.C., carrying 49 white South Africans who have been granted refugee status by the Trump administration, not because they were fleeing war or political violence, but because Donald Trump claims that they are the real victims of racial discrimination. Many commenters weighing in that these are not exactly folks who look like they have struggled a day in their life. That may be going a little too far. We don't know the stories of every single one of these individuals, but we spoke about this extensively on the bonus show yesterday. And now that the Eagle has landed in the United States, I do think we need to talk about this and Trump's new focus on resettling white South Africans as refugees in the United States. I'm going to be completely upfront with you. If you demonstrated to me that on the basis of race, white South Africans were being persecuted, if this were a group of people in danger, I would say, bring them in. We are a country that does that in the United States. That is what refugee protections are for. How would I possibly say I'm against helping people who are genuinely at risk? Except the more I research this, the more I realize that's simply not what's happening here. This group of people, these are Afrikaners. These are the descendants of Dutch colonists to South Africa. They still hold most of the wealth and most of the land in South Africa. We are talking about a group that owns around 75% of private land in South Africa. White South Africans have an unemployment rate under 10%. Black South Africans have an unemployment rate of more than 33%. So it's difficult to argue that white South Africans are a marginalized, persecuted population that should be getting treated as refugees here. They are still the most economically privileged group in all of South Africa. But because some people don't like South Africa's land reform policies, or they feel uncomfortable about demographic shifts, Trump decided that that is reason enough to say that these are discriminated against racial refugees who need to come to the United States. Now, compare this to Trump shutting the door on many others, asylum seekers from Haiti, from Central America, from Gaza, from Sudan. But when 49 white South Africans say we're uncomfortable with some of the policy changes, despite still owning the lion's share of the land and having an unemployment rate less than 1/3 that of our black country people, suddenly the gates swing wide open when Donald Trump is in charge. So the bigger picture here, of course, is that this is not a random immigration policy. Well, we'll randomly accept some white South Africans. We'll say no to asylum requests from Central America. This is part of a larger narrative, and it's actually not haphazard. Trump and his allies for years have been pushing the idea that white people around the world are under attack, that Christians are under attack. It's a talking point that you hear in right-wing spaces online. And it is now, the calls are coming from inside the House. It's shaping refugee decisions that are being made by the administration. I'm going to repeat it. If these folks were in real danger and this were about protecting lives, it would be a different conversation. I would be saying, of course, we welcome them as refugees, but it's not what it is. This is about who gets to be seen as deserving of safety. And under Trump, it's clearer than ever. If you're white, you get a plane ticket. If you're not, then good luck. So that is what this is really about. And I think that we need to dig into that. So let's do it. Did you know that countless commercial databases and people search sites are storing your personal information? Anyone from an employer to a former partner can use these platforms to get details about your online presence, your home address, phone number, email, license plate, family members, financial information, even political views. Europe has laws that offer some protection, but in the US, the data is widely accessible. Even the FBI will buy this information from companies to spy on people without a search warrant. Our sponsor, Incogni, provides a solution. It takes just seconds to sign up, and Incogni will send removal requests to all of the major data brokers, legally compelling them to get rid of your data. Incogni keeps you informed throughout the process. You'll get real-time updates, who has complied, which ones are still pending. They'll handle follow-ups, they'll handle appeals on your behalf, and this will save you hundreds of hours. Very few people have the time or resources to do this on their own. This service can also reduce the number of spam calls and emails you get, since many solicitors and scammers get your information from these very same sources. Go to incogni.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for 60% off. The link is below.